This is the 6 steps to reinventing yourself, transforming your brand, and creating a business you'll love for the rest of your life. Brand new content, just finished it minutes ago. Here goes.
Gentleman who's a dear friend of mine. He's helped me immensely, and he's been a consultant to some of the biggest companies in the world. Here's a guy that started literally from nothing, but back in the early days of the web, he was already the guy that was, writing some of the first CD-ROM games, did some of the first Mac games that existed, went out and became the guy that set up all those initial websites for Sony and for Columbia TriStar and for Fox. The guy that's managed or helped some of the largest business in the world, 3M, Domino's Pizza. But he's also shown people how to get started from nothing. And I know that's what he's probably most proud of.
If you know that there's a next level for you and your business, and if you know that there's a creative upper limit that is calling you, but you're stuck in the day-to-day working in instead of on your business, you need to accelerate your superpower.
GPT-3, which is all the rage right now. It's the latest chatbot from OpenAI. ADD plus AI plus Adderall equals the ultimate capability amplifier. Prior to this, we didn't have the tools. We didn't have the time. It frees us from so many limitations because you can have it do an enormous amount of research quickly. This is a time machine for people who are curious and expansive-minded.
I think it's a great time to be alive and completely reinvent and rethink everything you do, mend the nets, compress the spring, and rethink who you are and what you want to be. And ask yourself, how many lost opportunities in time will you miss if you hesitate? And what happens to you while your competition takes action before you do? And I believe it's your turn. It's your time. Grow your business and turn your unique superpower into a category of one brand.
Woohoo! Well, hello. It looks like we've got a lot of folks here from New York today. So welcome, New York. Welcome all over the world. I also want to give that shout out to my man down under, Nabi Kleinman here from Aussie. I'm Mike Koenigs. I'm here today with my team, and we've got so much brand new content. I have spent the past 16 hours working on some brand new content for you. I'm super excited to share it with you. Just came back from spending some time with one of my great mentors, Dan Sullivan at Strategic Coach last week. And I had some big insights, and that's what inspired us to do this for you in the first place. So the first big grabber I have for you is 6 things stand between you and the business you love for the rest of your life, or will love for the rest of your life. And this is big thinking is a result of associating with giant thinkers. And I would say, if you look back in time, I know, speaking for myself, the best investment I've ever made has been an investment in joining communities with other like-minded executives and professionals, because being an entrepreneur can be a very, very lonely place. And to me, if it weren't for the fact that I get to spend time with amazing people, just yesterday I was out with my good friend John Assaraf. I walk with him every single Sunday, and he always drops a big knowledge bomb on me. And I'm so grateful for having mentors and friends like that. So I have a QR code. I'll explain what this is. That is where we're going to do some offline Q&A. It's also the only place you can get the replay for this. That's our plan right now. So you can scan that right now or visit superpoweraccelerator.com/spotchat. Here's what I'm going to give you. A new definition of a perfect offer. I spent some time last night with one of the greatest copywriters. His name is Paris Lampropoulos. I mean, other than Scott Connerton, who's on here right now, of course. He is an amazing guy who's been writing copy for over 30 years. And we talked about a perfect offer. And then we're going to cover something that we've been building for years. We call it the 6-step framework to 3 to 10x the value of any product or offer. I've got some great case studies and examples, some of which are hot off the press, literally even days old, including one from my friend and client, Dr. Tracy Gappin, who I'm going to feature today. Leanne is on watching this, by the way. I want to give her a big shout out too, her and Elizabeth and the team. I'm going to share with you 5 questions to sell anything to anyone in minutes. And then the Triple Win Marketing System. This just got a name on Friday. I consider it new. So if you're looking for ways to increase your sales with JVs, with partners, I'm going to give you the language and a framework and structure that you can model as well. All right, so who is this for? Well, number one, if you are ready for your next act, you've either had an exit and sold your business and you're driven by impact and legacy. I like to say you're one of those people that has more money than time. And believe it or not, that does happen to a lot of people. There's nothing worse than being bored and rich. We had a client recently, he had had a massive exit, well over $100 million. And he had spent a tremendous amount of time wasting time and money and feeling anxious and depressed. That's what happens often when you sell your identity and your purpose. And you want to build something 100% aligned with your superpower and zone of genius and live in that. And you're looking for something high net, low overhead with the fewest moving parts that's lifestyle compatible. That is type 1. If you are type 1, shout out to you. Congratulations. So the type 2 is you're in a place right now where you want to reinvent, upgrade, accelerate, and scale the business you already have. And that comes from attracting higher quality customers who pay you more. Or you also know that adding new products, entering new channels, and upgrading your packaging, positioning, and messaging will make that happen. If any of those words are not clicking, we have some amazing case studies. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And then finally, if you want an expert thought leader, authority, platform, and brand, and this often comes from people who watch people who are less accredited than you are. You might have higher quality products and services, but no one knows who you are. And you've seen competitors with strong brands win deals you should get or negotiate better terms and close faster. And I like to say a strong platform is something you'll have for the rest of your life, even after you sell a brand. It makes everything you ever do for the rest of your life easier. I'm a firm believer that if you stand behind a velvet rope in a VIP line, you ain't standing in VIP. Okay. VIP means no lines, no waiting. So also, you have the resources to launch and execute, and you're ambitious, coachable, and all in. I was just at something called the All In podcast recently, and it was mind-blowing. There were a couple thousand people at UCLA being trained. People like Peter Thiel were there. The founder of Salesforce, Mark Benioff, Elon Musk spoke, and a whole bunch of other incredible people. And again, being around amazing brains makes your brain even more amazing. So who's this not for? Well, unfunded startups, first timers, or new businesses with no customers or revenue. I have lots of books, lots of podcasts, lots of content available to support people who are just getting started out. Most of my time these days is spent with founders, executives who are running their own businesses. All right, moving right along. If you don't know me, you most likely do. That's my wife, Vivian, my 22-year-old son. I'm a husband of 23 years and a dad, cancer survivor. So 12 years ago, I had stage 3A colorectal cancer. I'm here today because I spend my time in abundance-minded communities with a lot of people in the longevity space. I'm completely enthralled with that industry. I built and sold 5 companies, more businesses than that, actually, more products than that. As of now, 19 books behind me, including the AI Accelerator that you see. Spend a lot of my time podcasting and speaking. I have a podcast with Dan Sullivan. Let's make sure to drop that link in here. If you are not a subscriber of the podcast, Capability Amplifier with Dan Sullivan, I can't recommend that highly enough. There's some great new episodes, and there's some great ones coming up. Founder of Superpower Accelerator and AI Accelerator. And finally, live in San Diego. In the process right now, my wife and I are going to be living in Mexico part of the year very shortly, and we're building a home in Malaga, Spain, where our creative team is located. I love Spain. I love Latin countries. I'm completely in love, and I'm in love with the idea of spending some time in other places. I love the United States of America, and I love options. How about you? Raise your hand if you love options. Let me know you love options. Nabi says Malaga is a top place. Yes. Okay. And thank you, Jürgen, for the kind words. All right. So let's start with some meat. What makes for an irresistible offer? So when I was talking to my buddy Paris Lampropoulos yesterday, he said it with such clarity. A perfect outcome with a high probability of success, a very high probability of success in a short time frame with very little work. That is a perfect offer. Think about that. That should be your job all the time. Every time you talk to a client or a customer, you do a podcast, you write something, you speak. How can I make these four things always true? Um, Next up, the six M's. I'm going to do a quick mini commercial. One of the things that I'm going to be talking about in a moment, and if you are a reader, oh, I just had someone clean my office and took all my books out of here, but I was going to do some show and tell. One of my books, have you read Your Next Act, or have you listened to the audiobook? If you don't have the audiobook, here's what I'm going to do. There you go. Thank you, Scott. It is the foundation of the six M's. And I wrote it because at one point I was completely in pain, trying to figure out what I was going to do next, and really struggling. And this wasn't that long ago. It was about 7 years ago after I had sold You Everywhere Now, and decided to create my own next act. And when I used that phrase, I had a ton of people say, that's what I need too. That's what I want. And that literally became our current business. So, if you're in a stage right now where you want your next act, that's probably what drew you to this podcast. Raise your hand in chat. All right, so here are the six M's. So number one, the mindset. These are the non-negotiable personal and brand values, which will make sense in a moment. I'm going to show you some new case studies. The market. Who do you want to be a hero to? That is some language directly from Dan Sullivan. I love that. It's who are the who's you want to be a hero to. Next, the model, which is your brand promise, your offer, and how you make money. Doesn't matter if you're selling products, services, if you're a speaker, you're an author. It ultimately comes down to what is it that you're promising. I'm going to show you lots of promises today. The message are the words you say, the transformation you promise, and you're going to deliver. The media are the marketing channels. Today, we're doing a webcast. I happen to think podcasts right now are the new everything. Certainly more effective than social media. These days, you can reach so many people by being on podcasts, and you've got to have all five of these in place. And then the multipliers are the strategies and tactics that make all these things make you money and grow your platform. So let's deconstruct them, shall we? First of all, the mindset, the non-negotiable brand values. That was a billboard I did not see in New York City and Manhattan, by the way. There's a tool I've been using lately to create all the images that you see in here. It's called Ideogram. It's better than ChatGPT. It's better than Midjourney. And it does spell incorrectly, but it spells better than most AIs if you're struggling with AIs that don't spell well. But let us, here's an example. This is one of our clients. His name's Aaron Markham. Super awesome guy. So at the very beginning, this is a presentation deck we made for him. He has been in the business of helping the home care industry grow and scale. And so when we deconstructed and really looked at what is it that he's really amazing at, we figured out the 5 breakaway mindsets to keep top talent, accelerate growth, transform your future, and 10x your financial freedom in 24 months. That is his brand promise. It's also the promise that we made in the presentation. And the way he opens up his presentation is something he calls the breakaway mindset, which is when you're biking, what do? You're going to, what's the word for it? What's the word for it? Anyone? 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 It's drafting. You get behind someone and you slipstream behind them. So he tells a story about how he was on this 200-mile, I think it's pronounced Latoya bike race. And maybe not. I know in Espanol, that's the way we'd say it. But the key is you're partnering, you're doing drafting partners. And what you do is you go in front of them, and then any kind of great business, you have drafting partners. So those are mentors you have. They're people you go see, like my friend John Assaraf, who I see every single week. We draft each other all the time, sharing tips and strategies, belonging to masterminds and groups. It doesn't matter what they are. I'm a huge believer, of course, in Strategic Coach, Genius Network, Abundance 360. I belong to Mastermind Talks and quite a few others. And I speak at YPO and EO. They are awesome places to find drafting partners. Here's another one. Justin Donald. This was a brand we built with him called the Lifestyle Investor. Here's his brand promise, or the promise of his program is the 10 Commandments of Cash Flow Investing for Passive Income and Financial Freedom. Huge promise. I love this. And he opens up his presentation saying, what is your tax strategy of paying minimal or no taxes? And if your CPA is not proactive, you don't have a CPA. Can't agree enough. And then he goes on to a little story about how his broker screwed him and he decided to take control. And his promise, his brand promise, his mindset is always buying his time back. His first story is about how he generated enough passive income to replace his wife's income of $65,000 per year. He did it for himself. At the time, he was working for Cutco Knives, making $150,000 a year. And that's what created his whole promise of living life by design, not default. And his first big investment was buying a mobile home park, refinancing, pulling out the cash. And from that became the framework to the Lifestyle Investor. Here's another guy, Brian Howard. You'll meet him in a video I'll play for you a little bit later. We called it the M Factor Toolkit. Before we worked with him, he was selling products for about $35,000. We ended up breaking his products into 8 chunks, each with a value of $50,000. So he went from selling $35,000 programs to like $250,000. But here are his mindsets. We believe. So anytime you start a speech, and this is a classic TED Talk strategy, I believe blank, blank, and blank. The whole idea is you want to capture an audience's attention and say, here's what I believe. Here's what I think you believe. Here's what makes us great partners. So that's number one. Number two is a category of one brand, and that's packaging based on your superpower. So Lifestyle Investor is one of those. We created the passive income playbook, rich.life. My opinion is great brands deliver a brand promise and some kind of outcome or result in the name. And this is something that really, in my experience, grabs people's attention. Your objective, your goal in life should be the best in the world at what you do, the only in the world at what you do, and the most expensive at what you do. The best, the only, and the most expensive. And the way we get there, how do we get there? Well, that's going to be number two. Okay, well, let me give you another example. This is Jim and Jamie Shields, Passive Income Active Freedom. So when we deconstructed them, so they leverage build-to-rent real estate to buy back your time and create a legendary family life. So what we wanted to do is the best, the only, and the most expensive. So what they stand for is adventure as a family. Service and contribution in the center picture, that's them in Guatemala building homes, and they get their kids actively involved in investing and in doing great work. And his promise is 20 years of passive income experience and $750 million that they have under management will help you build passive income and active lifestyle for you and your family. And then we have proof that they're making over $40,000 in passive income. And ultimately, what they're selling is build-to-rent real estate. If we were to open up with build-to-rent real estate, he'd be caught up in a red sea of Me Too's. But instead, we tap the blue ocean. So his category one is leveraging build-to-rent real estate for active freedom and adventure. So here's Liberty Spenders. This is a brand I'm super excited about. Kurt and Kristen Ludhart. I met them at a Tony Robbins event. And what we've defined for them as their category one is how to access a $5 trillion market of high-value conservative or faith-based clients. So what's that look like? Well, here are some brands. Chick-fil-A, we all know that. Hobby Lobby. These are some huge companies. There's also some that you may or may not have heard of. But the hottest trend in business right now is the parallel economy. You may have heard of that before. You know, we all live in an illusion a hallucination. And in the United States, there's this division of left and right, liberal and conservative, um, and whether that's real or not. But here's what is real. You've got conservative Christian market that represents a lot of people with a lot of buying strength. And when you speak to them, that's a $5 trillion economy, an estimated annual Liberty spenders spending power, okay, which is massive. So just by adjusting your brand promise and the words you say, boom, this is how you reach them. Now, they've also been responsible. It doesn't matter. I'm not political. I don't really like any side. And I'm not party affiliated, but they've gotten a president elected, 14 governors, 15 senators, over 100 members of Congress elected. How did they do that? By saying the right words. They know how to activate it. But when I met them, they said, we don't want to do politics anymore. We want to serve business. That's our passion. So we turn that into a brand. So part two, once we've got our category of one defined, we've got to articulate an offer. We talked about a perfect offer a moment ago. It is my strong opinion that if you nail a pitch deck, we call it a keynote file, a PowerPoint, but if it tells your brand story and it speaks to an audience in a pitch, you can get people to raise their hands and say yes to you and give you money, but it also becomes the rule set and the words you use in a book. We built books and written books based on the pitch deck. It becomes the framework for every interview you do, every article you create. A pitch deck can be 10 minutes long. It can be performed in 50 minutes. It could be a 3-hour workshop. It could be a 3-day masterclass or a product. But it all begins and ends here. Everything we do revolves around this these days. So this is Reagan Archibald. The name of his deck, his pitch deck, was Your Blood Doesn't Lie. He came to us not long ago. He had a presentation to make in front of an audience. We had 48 hours to put together this thing, and effectively it opens up with the transformation. He is in the longevity business. He also happens to be a peptide expert, and he's the guy that I do a lot of work with for my peptides. So we went through a transformation, and part of what he does is he examines blood reports and helps figure out what peptides to use. And this is a fantastic life extension. Here's an example of a before and after picture of someone regenerating cartilage in their knee. But the net was this presentation in 10 minutes captured 86 leads, which produced hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue in 10 minutes. So it is absolutely possible to tell a great story. And one thing I repeat all the time, all of us are in the entertainment business. We first have to grab attention and get someone to know, like, and trust us and build confidence so that we can present our offer in the first place. And a great deck, a great offer allows us to do that. Here's another one. This is Dr. Tim Nelson. He is in the business of regenerating hearts, baby hearts, children who are born with half a heart, who have congenital heart defects. There's lots of them. So his presentation, this is another one, 12 minutes, raised $512,000. We built this deck for him so he could present at Abundance 360. But it is an amazing story, and he's just an incredible guy. So again, it is absolutely possible that when you have the right framework and the right deck, you can grab almost any audience's attention. So that's an example of a beating heart that's built on analogous stem cells. All right. So next, this is another nice thing. And you'll notice that that's not spelled right because AI doesn't always spell right, but I left it in here anyway. It's supposed to be multipliers. So how do you make more money? Creating new products, selling them to existing clients. That's the first way we like to work with someone. Is like, how do we reactivate the clients you have and sell them that's something more expensive, or have different products that you sell to different clients, or opening up new markets with new channels. One of the things that I'm going to share with you is a channel marketing strategy today. So how do we do that? Well, it's through positioning and credibility boosters. Today, I opened up with Tony Robbins saying nice things about me. I've used that for years. but also showing evidence that you've presented before. So for Justin, we came up with a hook. Justin Donald is the investment world's new Warren Buffett. I wrote that. I published it in Entrepreneur Magazine, and that becomes the hook on the cover of his book. Right now, Kurt and Kristen have a book coming out, and they've got huge influencers who are going to be associated with their book for that Liberty Spenders category. And at the across the bottom, whenever we're working with someone, we try to publish them in as many places as soon as possible. So you got logos and evidence that you are an authority, building your credibility. So this is Dr. Tracy Gappen, Doc, as we like to say him. Leanne is here from his team right now. Hi, Leanne. All right. So how's he set up? The positioning, real doctor, real science, real system, real team, real results. You see across the bottom, he's spoken, he's done lots of podcasts. So we stack his credibility, his accreditation. All right. Then he spoke at a TEDx. That's good credibility. He's also a best-selling author. And he's also on lots and lots of podcasts. Again, can't recommend this highly enough. Once you've got your category of one defined in your brand and your pitch deck, that becomes the story for going out and spreading the word and getting attention. And attention breeds attention. You got to break in somehow. Here's a recent podcast he was on with my friend Dave Asprey. Great podcast episode, by the way. But he's got a great quote from him. And I will just tell you, for the record, when you write a book, the best way to get great quotes is writing the quotes for the people that you want quotes from. And that leads us to the next part of the 6 M's. So we begin with mindset. We go to market, model, media. Now we've got to get the word out there and gain and own thought leadership. And I like to say, if someone searches for your name, you want to make certain that whatever they find is something you wrote. If you're not controlling the narrative, you are not in control. And this is one of those areas where, in my experience, and you could find this if you search for my name, for example, you'll see my Amazon book show up really early. LinkedIn profile shows up really early, and then lots and lots of content and articles that I have written and I have control over. And we do that with everyone we work with as well. Writing a book is still the most powerful and significant mechanism to elevating yourself and controlling the narrative. And then, you know, in our case, I write for a bunch of publications, but it is possible, it's not that hard to get inside lots of publications as well. Again, people search for you, you want to be found. And that also then leads to lead generation and collateral. So Dr. Tracy Gappen, for example, when you listen to a podcast, we send everyone to the same place to get all sorts of goodies that are related to longevity, life extension, having more energy, and being able to be a high performer. His website is effectively the pitch deck. It's all the stories in one place, filled with proof and elevating his status and his thought leadership. Okay. From there, the sales system and market. The best sales system you can begin with, besides picking a great market, which is a market with money, is a site that does 2 things. Combines all this information in one place, captures leads, follows up, and communicates. So you're here today because clearly you're on my list. You followed me in some way, shape, or form. But from there, the business model takes over. So I like to say, I've never met a business model that can't be improved. Now, your business model, and I'm curious from your point of view, and type this into chat, what's your current business model right now? How do you capture money? And what is it that you deliver? So take a moment right now and share that with me. So Alice, Angela, Cindy, David, Dr. Lyndon, Jones, Frank, Georgetta, Greg, Harry, Howard, Jack, what is it you are delivering? What are you fulfilling? And I'm also curious, what do you charge for your product or your service? What is the range? I asked that when you registered, but Ultimately, the best thing you can ever do when you're a category of one is increase your prices so they're 3 to 10 times as high without affecting your delivery, so you get to keep more. All right. Oh, look at that. Jurgen got in here right away. Great. Very, very nice. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Let's move on to the next. So, what's the fastest, best, easiest way to grow your business? It's my strong opinion, referrals. Now, I promised you I'm going to share a couple strategies. One of my favorites is also one of my most recent books. It's called Referral Party. If you haven't read that book, I can't recommend it highly enough. That is a book that what we do, and you'll see some of the examples. So that's me with Dr. Tracy Gapin in the top right. I referred him and introduced him to a network that is expanding his speaking opportunities right now. Also, getting him on more podcasts. The next person down is Jennifer Hootie. She made an introduction to us, a referral that came in, and minutes later we followed up, had a one-call enrollment, so a one-call close for a large six-figure investment, and the next week that individual was working with us and we were building his next category one brand. Before then, he had never heard of me. So why am I sharing this with you? Because referrals allow you to bypass the long period of time, what usually takes 7 to 10 hours of exposure for someone to decide that they know, like, and trust you. And it needs to come from multiple places. So great referrals, great connections, shortcut this process, especially when you have all these pieces in place. And I know at this point you might be thinking, oh my God, this is a lot of stuff, but I promise we're going to shorten it for you, okay? We're going to make it simpler. Now, one of our simplifiers is using AI. Now, I used a lot of AI to help create this presentation for you today. A lot of the images, I didn't have to depend on my creative team because I was making them minutes before we started today. But I started my AI journey many years ago, decades ago, when it was not commercially available. But a couple of the people who've helped me get my AI message out is Peter Diamandis from X Prize that you see down there and speaking at Abundance 360. So can't recommend it enough. Immerse yourself in AI. If you haven't looked at our AI Accelerator program, which is a training product, definitely put a text message in chat for Aaron Biblo, and he'll follow up with you afterwards. But we have a great program that'll help you elevate your ability to use AI in your business and make more money in less than 90 days. Most people make a huge impact in a week. But this is what we do in real time when we're creating presentations, which, speaking of which, that is Aaron right there. If at any reason you want to book a discovery call with him, you can scan that QR code. You can visit superpoweraccelerator.com/booking. He's here to support you and help you along. Let's move on to the next thing. This is something that if you're familiar with Punch the Elephant, this is my book, How to Sell Anything to Anyone, even if you're bad at selling. But this is the basic framework. There it is. Thank you, Scott Connerton. He's showing the book right now. The 5 questions. Here they are. Now, we've got to begin with the most important thing, which is framing the offer. I already told you about Punch the Elephant. And framing the offer goes like this. Now, here is our framing. What if I could sit down with you for 3 days and you could walk out with something done and make money from the get-go with no homework, no extra work, and a very high probability of or certainty of success? It looks like I've got or certainty in there twice. Forgive me, the AI did not correct me earlier, but that is our promise. 3 days and we can create new products, a new brand, a category of one, and get all this done for you. That is our framing. So usually by this time, someone may have heard of us, but the question I have for you is, can you make a promise in a sentence? And I know it is hard as hell. It took us a long time to get to the point where we could simplify it, but that is our promise. 3 days, we can build a business or a product either from scratch or enhance the one you already have. So what is it that makes for an irresistible offer? Perfect outcome, a business or a product, high probability or certainty of success, okay, That is the social proof you share. That's why we elevate with stories in a short time frame with very little work. A perfect pitch deck has all of this embedded in it. And I don't care if you're selling coffee or you're selling $1 million product, and it can be articulated with a couple of sentences or a 3-minute elevator pitch or a 10-minute pitch deck that can be expanded. And it's hard. Full disclosure, it is hard. So let's begin with the transformation. Here's the setup. So it's required. And again, every piece of content, I'm going to show you a video in a moment that does this in about 10 minutes. But you'd begin if you get someone to fill out a form, book a call, or watch a video, you make your promise. Then you'd say, imagine if you and I were to start working together today. I do everything I can to help you get results. Now imagine we're meeting a year from now. What would have happened for you to feel happy with your progress? And what would make you believe that this was the best decision and investment you've ever made? Now, this may sound familiar to you because the basis of this is the Dan Sullivan question. Okay, I got to give credit where credit is due, but it is called a future-paced question. And your whole job as a speaker, as a founder, as an owner or creator of any marketing is help your prospect understand what a better future looks like. And all of us are promising one or all the following. Either you're going to make more money, you're going to elevate your status authority. In other words, you're going to become more kissable or huggable or lovable, or some improvement on health or longevity. But the combination of all those, what we call the Holy Trinity, is I'm promising you a better life than the one you have right now. Every product is selling some version of hope, whether it is makeup, a car, or a business opportunity. So that is the transformation. And by the way, if you want the replay to this, make sure you are scanning that QR code so you get inside the WhatsApp group. All right, next. What's the danger? Well, why don't you have it yet? Okay. How much time and money have you spent trying to make that true? Now, for us, I'd say, how much time and money have you spent trying to elevate your status, your authority, to get more leads, to create a better product, to create new products, to get the message out there, to create a good pitch, to have a website that actually functions, be able to get the attention of your perfect audience? Maybe you don't even know who it is. How many times have you tried and failed? And what's been standing in your way or holding you back? Now, the truth is, it's always us. We're the ones with the limited thinking. It's always some framing, some belief system that is preventing us from getting there. But we've got to punch that elephant. That's why I named that book, Punch the Elephant. We have to overcome the biggest objection your audience has before they even articulate it. Now, what threats or dangers are you facing? One thing I know for sure is there is no question, whether the news says it or not, there is a recession happening and people are tight with their money. There is lots of uncertainty. And what we have to do is get someone to the other side that making an investment now is going to get them out of the pickle they're in, and they're going to feel better and they're going to get results. And that's why we open up with all the pieces that you saw from the 6 M's. Now, this is a magic question that Aaron is exceptional at. I ask, what else? What else? What else? Because usually people would say, I'm not sure. And you have to help them along. This is why we have that pre-frame question in the first place, and we understand and know where they want to be. Our job is to help them visualize and experience what it's like to be working together, to be owning your product or your service. And the third, now that we've gotten that out of the way and we know what the dangers are, we have to help them understand if their life was different, what kind of opportunities could they take advantage of? So in our particular cases, I want you to imagine if you had an amazing pitch deck, if you had authority building content, if you had a book, if you had a great website that told your story and articulated in the shortest period of time, so it wouldn't take so long to get someone to know, like, and trust you, what could you take advantage of that you can't do right now? And think about what resources, connections, talents, or skills you have access to that you're not using 100% that you could use to help overcome your obstacles and achieve your goals. Now, this is about courage building. It's about confidence building. If you're afraid of putting yourself out there, it's because something is missing. And most likely, you don't even know what it is. Most of us don't. I don't know what mine are. And that's why I have to surround myself. It's why I invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in my own personal growth and development every single year. And again, what else? What other opportunities could you take advantage of? What stages or audiences could you get in front of? What podcast do you think you could get in front of if your stuff looked good, if you could tell better stories, if you were media trained? Okay. So there's a gap, and we have to help them imagine into that gap. I need to help you imagine what it's like to take advantage of. How much additional income or revenue could you make if you had all these pieces in place? And then this is a bonus, but it is super important. I want to know, if you could spend 95% of your time doing what you are best at, what would that be? And put that in chat right now. I want to read a couple of these. So imagine right now, if you knew that you had your monthly revenue covered and you knew that was coming in every month, and you weren't in a chase mode and you weren't in a constant scale and fear mode, what would you love to be doing? Now, Suzanne said something I completely agree with. You nailed it. First one in, I want to be a visionary. I've never met a founder who didn't want a freaking break from the absolute terror and hustle and fear. And I don't care if you got $1 billion business, all of us live in a state of scarcity and fear. Okay. Yeah, there we go. George just said, me too. All right. Here's one. Juan says, helping others maximize their superpowers. Hallelujah, brother. Okay. So true. Jurgen. Okay. Creating millionaire entrepreneurs. Become globally competitive. So all of us have a promise of a better future. We are selling hope, but it takes proof to get there. And there we go. Developing ideas. Howard said something, and Howard, I totally get it, because you are this visionary. Developing ideas to deliver leadership to deploy. Okay. Some variation. Okay. There we go. Nabi says changing people's future. Right on. Okay. We as founders and entrepreneurs want to live inside our visionary capabilities all the time. Now, here's another one I like to ask. This is a stack. What are you known for? What do you want to be known for? Okay. And what is it that you wish people knew you for? All right. I'm going to go back and I'm going to repeat these. Okay. So spending 95% of your time as a visionary. What are your superpowers or genius zone capabilities? What do you want to be known for, or what are you known for? Okay. Shirley says connector. Suzanne says charisma. Now I'm going to ask you this question right now, and I'm doing this because Scott is always gathering data. Scott Connerton, who's here watching, he wrote all the copy that you see that got you here today. So you've spent some time with me, and if you would type in chat, how long have you known me and what do you know me for or as? Now, some of you have known me, I know 15 years, like Nabi. Okay. Yeah. Juan says 10 years. So Jurgen says trailblazer and history maker. That's interesting. Okay. Possibility. Maximizer is what Scott says. So what is your experience of me, and how many years have you known me? Okay. Janine says 2 years, rule breaker. Thank you for that. I'll accept that gift. Okay. Okay. Richard says the internet cafe, digital cafe, the old days, 2010 traffic geyser. Okay. All right. Cindy says less than 6 months, AI leader. So you'll notice as you watch some of these go by, when you have multiple brands, people know you for different things. And there's nothing wrong with that. Traffic geyser, that goes back to 2005, 2006. So again, we all have a history. You want to be known for something that's useful to someone else. All right. And the last question is, and this is the most important one, is do you want us to help you? So once we've gathered this information, the framework behind Punch the Elephant, and when we do sales training is, now that we've gathered the information from the other questions, we can present an offer starring our prospect as the star, as the hero in a journey narrating how life will be after we're done working together. Okay. So that is our job. And then here's another one. What if, and this, remember the big promise, this is our brand promise. What if you could sit down for 3 days and walk out with something done and make money from the get-go with no homework, no extra work, and a very high probability or certainty of success? Or certainty. All right. And then I just say, take a look at your calendar and let's book a conversation. So what I'm about to share with you right now is, besides the fact, if you're not convinced already, this is a little station identification. I'm going to play back for you something where we do our best to roll all that together in one place. So this is our version of, to me, one of the hardest things any business will ever do. So I'm going to play that video. And what I want you to do as you look through that is let me know in chat how this is resonating with you. Okay. Because marketing is storytelling. And of course, it's trying to combine and speak to as many people as you can and get them to raise their hands so you don't have to do it one-on-one. So there's sales, there's marketing. So, oh, and this is a little thing I will temporarily show you. This is something called the 10X multiplier blueprint. Let me show this to you. This whole process I've been guiding you through right now is our 10X multiplier blueprint. This is a product. I'll show you on a different camera here. Let me go to center cam. Here it is. You can see me over here. You can see the giant mess I'm working in right now. This product is our process. When we work with people, it's a 6-figure investment, but we actually went through and documented it. And my friend Pam Hendrickson, who's worked with Tony Robbins for over 30 years, helped us document and articulate this. All right. So that's what the blueprint is, 10X multiplier blueprint. And one of the things I'm also proud of, and Abby Bassnight's responsible for putting this together, this is some of our best pitch decks all put together in one place, including some of the best pitches I've ever made. This has been responsible for generating tens of millions of dollars in our business and also some of our best client pitch decks. So I'll give you an opportunity to get this at half price before this event is done. Back to you. All right. So now I'm going to share with you a story and let us know how this resonates. This is one of the first times we've shared and shown this off. Oh, there you go. I'll pop that into chat as well. But that's a link so you can get the 10X multiplier blueprint if you'd like to get it for half off. And the code that we just put in there, BP50, lets you get that for half off. So here is the video.
Today, I'm here to share with you, introduce to you a gentleman who's a dear friend of mine. He's helped me immensely. Here's a guy that started literally from nothing, but back in the early days of the web. He's a guy that's managed or helped some of the largest business in the world, but he's also shown people how to get started from nothing. And I know that's what he's probably most proud of. So I want to introduce to you Mike Koenigs, my dear friend.
The Superpower Accelerator is a 3-day in-person experience where we build a business from scratch, enhance the one you have, or create a personal brand that will elevate and multiply the value of everything you touch. It's the ultimate shortcut to reinventing yourself, creating better offers, and attracting higher value customers who pay you more into a business you'll love for the rest of your life. My name is Mike Koenigs. 7 years ago, I was depressed, uncertain, and stuck in a business I had grown to hate. And because I was supposed to be the big business guru, I couldn't get out of my own way and ask for help. I finally said enough is enough, and in less than 18 months, I sold the business I no longer loved and completely reinvented myself and created a business I love that I could do for the rest of my life. I built the business I wish I had when I was going through this pain. And since then, my team and I have created and launched over 100 businesses and brands for clients in less than a week, creating Category 1 brands, multiplying their value and impact, and creating businesses that transform their lives. I've worked with the world's top thought leaders, entrepreneurs, marketers, world-changing medical and healthcare professionals, technology experts, celebrities, visionaries, philanthropists, and personal development experts.
When I started this process, I was charging somewhere around $30,000 for each of my engagements. After the experience, I don't see any problem with 10xing those prices. Probably we'll look at now somewhere around $250,000 as a minimum price. And I would have never thought that before I came here.
I came in with a vision for this to be a $10 million business. And before the morning was over on day one, Mike showed us a way this could be a $100 million business. I'm very grateful. We created something really special here these last 3 days.
The revenue possibilities really seem endless. We've easily built a mid-7-figure business together in the last 3 days.
I've been trying to do it myself for 12 years now and going through programs and all these time and money that I've wasted. And in 3 days, it's crystal freaking clear what we got to do and how we do it and how to think about it differently.
If you are sick and tired of wasting money and time on the wrong who's who don't completely understand your vision, how to interpret what you're thinking and make it real, and you're ready for a new or upgraded business that's inspiring, impactful, of the highest quality, that's high net, low overhead with the fewest moving parts possible and lifestyle and family compatible, this is for you. Because while you're not building a category of one brand or feel like you're not making constant progress, elevating your value, visibility, and pricing, someone else out there is. And right now, I'll bet you're selling to a lower quality customer than you should be who undervalues you when you know you and your products are worth at least 3 to 10 times more than what you're charging. And by now, you've probably tried, failed, and burned hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions, trying to get there. That's where we come in. The Superpower Accelerator is an in-person, highly concentrated process that will completely reinvent you, your business, and your brand. Now, for nearly a decade, my team and I have been helping founders like you get to their next level. And in less than a week, my team and I work with you to create your next act, where you will walk away with a dream come true platform, a new or upgraded brand, offer and revenue streams, a presentation of world-class design quality, the messaging engineered to convert. Everything you've been dreaming of but haven't been able to start, perfect, or finish for years. Now, so who's this for? Visionary founders and entrepreneurs. So if you've sold your business and are looking for your next act, something that's high net, low overhead with the fewest moving parts, that's lifestyle compatible, that is 100% aligned with your superpower, zone of genius, or what I call your category of one. Or you need a reinvention or upgrade for your existing brand or business. You want better customers who pay more, and maybe you need to change the packaging, positioning, and messaging of your business to attract better customers faster. Or you've seen competitors with strong personal brands consistently win deals that you should get. You know having a strong personal brand, becoming a thought leader, authority, expert, best-selling author, or speaking could multiply the value of everything you touch for the rest of your life. Now, this is what the Superpower Accelerator experience is like and what you get. Now, after you've booked a call and we decide to work together, you meet with me and my team and we onboard you, going deep into your vision and build a complete blueprint with total clarity.
And the biggest result we've gotten so far is clarity. I could have never 6 months ago when we started this conversation been seeing what I was seeing today and expected it. We actually are going home with something very tangible, not just a quick start, but a full finish.
Then you come to La Jolla, California to stay at my condo on the beach, and we get to work one-on-one with my team, in person, old school. Now, to be clear, it's not uncommon for founders to show up having no idea what they want to do next. They're genuinely stuck or want outside inspiration. Now, that's why on day one, we sit down and build on top of the blueprint, or we create another one, focusing on transforming your business, brand, and lifestyle, or creating something from scratch. Now, without exception, every client we've ever worked with stops us in the first 60 to 90 minutes and says, "You've made me think bigger about myself, my business, and my purpose than I ever have before."
We just kept pushing and pushing and ended up in an amazing place. What I have now is clarity on what that is, what I will be doing for the next 10 years.
We have a system that consistently produces profitable results quickly and with impact. Now, we focus on who your perfect audience is, targeting high value prospects, how to engage and compel them to take the next step. Then we work on your offer, creating new products, services, or enhancing the ones you have, and increasing the value so you can charge 3 to 10 times or more. Now, every step of the way, we're using AI to enhance everything we create together, doing the work that normally takes a team 3 to 6 months or more, done in 3 days. We are hands-on, get done now, and get the results you want. No homework, and I can't stress this enough, done.
It's unbelievable the assets that we created in the last couple of days. To watch it all happen in real time has been quite remarkable. There's no homework involved. It doesn't happen tomorrow. It happened today.
On day 2, we focus on packaging, expert and authority positioning, and messaging. The big takeaway is a beautiful, persuasive pitch deck with stories designed to sell. So your perfect audience raise their hands and say, I'm in, I want to buy from you. Think of it as a universal TED Talk that can be presented to an audience of 1 to millions in any media. That gets repurposed for live, recorded, or stage presentations, webinars, podcasts, even print. We build Rolls Royces and Lamborghinis, not Kias or Toyota Corollas. World-class quality, premium brands. Now, we've had people leave and produce $1.2 million deals in less than 48 hours after working with us, or raising $500,000 for a nonprofit. Now, our record to date is $34 million 2 weeks after we were together. Day 3 is when we get into the studio and start producing content, making sales videos, recording interviews, and building the assets and materials needed to make you stand out as a category of one. You walk away with the tools to overcome objections, collect leads, and book conversations, positioning you and your brand as the expert, authority, and thought leader in your space. Did I mention no homework? My 2 favorite words are now and done. Then I open up my 40-year database and community to make the right connections and referrals for you and with you. Now, I've had many clients tell me this alone was worth their entire investment. And I can't promise this for everyone, but for example, we sent over 200 customers to Reagan Archibald. And if you don't believe we can make this happen for you, know that we've already done it over 100 times for businesses in dozens of categories, and most likely including yours. Now, my clients have been blown away with the results. Listen to what they say.
Mike is somebody that helps you climb to the top of the mountain, not down into the valley to compete. He'll show you opportunities that you probably aren't even aware of. So don't hesitate, just get it done.
I can tell you that my confidence is through the roof. We've gotten more done than what I would have anticipated over the course of a year. We just created a product in half a day's period of time.
I quickly realized I was dealing with the best. And I am walking away with a product that is infinitely better than what I walked through the door with. Way more deliverables than I ever thought I would get out of the deal.
Finally, somebody got my vision. After just 3 days, I have an amazing brand that is so inspired that I'm in love with it. He over-delivers on what he has promised.
Imagine this, you and a +1 arrive in beautiful San Diego, then your team and my team join us remotely with everyone focused on your reinvention. This is deep one-on-one work, and most of our clients sign up for annual contracts after we finish what we call Container 1. Now, who is this not for? Unfunded startups or first-timers. There are no discounts, deals, barters, or trades, and I don't invest in or raise money for your deals. You're financially secure and have the resources to launch and execute. You are ambitious, coachable, and all in. And I can look you in the eyes right now and confidently say that we're the best in the world at what we do, and to the best of my knowledge, the only team I know of that does what we do. I know for a fact that we can do it with you too. And in case I didn't make it clear, it is fun AF. So imagine if you had created your next act 18 months ago. I guarantee your situation, mindset, impact, and bank account would look way different than they do right now. So here we are. What's known as the crossroads close. There are 2 paths to take. Option 1, you can do nothing and life continues exactly the way it is. Or option 2, you raise your hand, click that book a call button, say I'm in, and let's get this party started.
Well, there you go. That's the pitch. What do you think? And that is Aaron Biblo. So I have one more thing I am going to promise, or I did promise that I'm going to give to you, and that's the triple win marketing system. So, again, in chat, I would love to know what you thought of that presentation. All feedback is good feedback. So this is a channel marketing website. This is one we did for Jim and Jamie Shields. We've done this for a lot of our clients and customers as well. And, in general, one of the best things you can do, as I had mentioned earlier, is create powerful referral networks, but then do that at scale. So this, for example, one of the ways that Jim has built and grown his business is selling build to rent real estate is he speaks on stages, he does podcasts, he gets his message out. Again, great pitch deck, and he converts at a very, very high rate. And it takes great partners. So here's what a triple win marketing system is. So that again is a traditional channel marketing page. I'll show you ours in a moment. But a great referral marketing channel is number one that's built on top of what we call the referral party. Okay, so I always say, I want to give you a tool that you can use beyond just us. So when we're working with a partner, our promise is, look, I'm going to teach you a really powerful marketing program that works for us. It'll work for you too. And secondly, our promise to our partners, and you should have a hook like this as well, is we're going to help your customers make more net revenue, not just increased income, which usually requires more expense. So that means you'll get more business from a client who helps make you even more successful. So for example, for Dr. Tracy Gappen, their hook is when we work with you, and this is for anyone in the longevity business, is the best retention program you'll ever have is one to keep your customers alive. Keep them mobile, keep them alive, and make sure that they are customers for the long haul. So you don't have to go out and get new ones, and sell them a better program. Give them more life, give them more time. That is a great pitch. Now for us, we pay up to a $10,000 referral fee for nothing more than an introduction. So for example, if you know someone who you know our programs would work for and you make a referral, we do all the work, we do the close, we send you money. Now paying people is great. That's a great way to get their attention. You want to spread the wealth. But in our particular case, one of the things that we say to our partners is when we work together and develop a long-term relationship, we help figure out how to pitch you to our network as well. So I'm going to give you a real life example. Okay. So you want to be a category 1 business. Now I was just at Strategic Coach, and in that organization, in many organizations, there's a lot of wealth managers. There's a lot of financial advisors. There's a lot of CPAs, a lot of service professionals. Now someone comes to me and says, hey, Mike, I want to refer business to you. Can you refer business to me? Well, if someone doesn't have their category 1 and they're like a financial advisor selling insurance instruments, that's not a category 1. That's selling Tupperware. There's no differentiator. But I was working with someone recently, and their pitch, what hooked me, is they help get businesses R&D tax credits back. R&D tax credits are a way to get money back from the government on anything, anytime you're creating a new product or service, you're working on efficiency. So that's their tip of the spear. That's a beautiful category 1. In other words, I will help you find money so you can grow your business that you didn't even know is coming to you. That is a great referral. That is an excellent category 1, but they didn't start out that way. Okay. So again, finding some way to make you unique. And that is a very challenging thing for most businesses. Now, our referral program, by the way, we'll pop this in here because if you do know anyone, it's at superpoweraccelerator.com/partner. So if you know someone who you think would be a great referral for us, I will pay you for that introduction. And that's where the application is. I'm sharing that with you for 2 reasons. One is because I genuinely want you to help us grow. But secondly, if you don't have a channel marketing program, this is a methodology that just flat out works. And for a long time, I've been a shoemaker without the shoes. We've been doing it for other people, not for ourselves. But that's what I think a really good channel marketing program looks like. All right. And yes, that's my daily driver. Fun little Lotus. Okay, so let's review. So first of all, my promise to you at the very beginning was to give you a beautiful, explosive future. So number one was the definition of a perfect offer. Check. Number two is 6-step framework to 3 to 10x the value of any product or offer. Yes, I know that stuff is hard and it takes a long time to build these things. Now we're in the business of doing that. We've also got a product that will help you do it. But this is the journey all of us are on as we build, grow, and scale our businesses. And AI is a fantastic way of doing that. We looked at some case studies and examples. I'm a big believer in, number one, I don't work with anyone who hasn't done it for real. And I want to see proof and evidence that that is the case. That is your job as well. We went through the 5 questions to sell anything to anyone in minutes. It's a derivative from the punch the elephant system. And then finally, the triple win marketing system. So with that, again, if you're in a position where you want to grow and elevate your status, your authority, and build that perfect pitch, we're your people. And I am totally open to answering some questions, but we're officially going to end this portion of the program because we'll have a nice, clean recording.